got released at 19 by Sir Alex. Told me, you know, I wasn't for Man United at that point, but you will come back to haunt me.
What was your time like at Birmingham?
Got best.
Yeah, you loved it.
Yeah, listen, I was fans' favourite, and I left in controversial circumstances to go to Blackburn because Mike Hughes, my hero, was the manager.
What happened with Dion Dublin?
Took me out, got on the ground, and just normal. What you doing? What you doing? Anyway, butted me, sent off.
You know, because like the dark arts and you would wind people up and stuff like that. Do you reckon that took away from like your actual people's opinion on your ability?
I think Steven Gerrard has said it a few times that I was difficult to play against. So again, coming from your peers you've played against, they know how difficult I was to play against, even though I would, you know, talk rubbish on a pitch, but I was trying to get the best out of me, trying to gain an advantage of my opposition.
Is there any truth to like the Roy Keane thing?
I found when I found out.
First time
I found out.
I've seen a few things.
That he didn't sign me because he tried to ring me, and my voicemail was, "Hi Robbie, what's up? I'm on every picture the worst ever Derby team," which is fine.
He fucking loves it deep down. Let's start with right now, off season, but what a season!
Yeah,
what a season.
Yeah, the boys bought into, you know, what we wanted to do. You know, I've got a great team around me as Dee knows, John McMahon, Bandy, Nige, Ali, Danny, just like Marissa, Nick. Got my staff enabled me to get the best out of the players. So again, they bought into it. You know, from day one, you know, Dee coming in a bit later. You know, but I sat him down at the start of the season. I was honest, I was transparent. You know, and what I've tried to do, right, is give my players what I would have wanted. And I think about when I was a player, how managers treated me, the good and the bad, and how my son now, Charlie, and Freddie, would want to be treated by their manager. And I always think when I'm doing something, how would I have reacted? How would my dad reacted if I was being treated like that? And how I reacted if Charlie was being like that? So I think I've been honest with them, and I care about them, and I think they know that.
I love how like you acknowledged obviously your staff there. Like you said, massive part of the game, innit?
Have you not seen interviews? The goals for about 5 minutes because just thank you.
No, you know what though? I think again, there's a lot of pressure on you, Robbie, isn't there? Because obviously you've played, obviously well-known figure. Like, but for you to highlight your staff is massive there.
Well, because without your staff, you know, listen, and I'm sure we'll come on to it, you know, I know up the RH coaching, I know all that.
Yeah, look at this guy.
Listen, and you're a very good coach. John McMahon is a very good coach, and he's better than me. So he's got his pro licence. You know, I'm on my start my A in September, the Welsh FA. So I designate, and I think that's right, because, you know, in my career, when I've seen coaches standing around not doing much, I wanted to feel all my coaches are part and they've got their role, like Bandy does set pieces. You know, we don't score many.
He's a great guy.
We do, and he cares.
He does. Cares. Great guy.
Absolutely, you know it. He cares. He's passionate, and I wanted to give Bandy a role where if it comes off, he takes all the plaudits, and if it goes wrong, I'll take responsibility. You know, so again, Bandy and John's a brilliant coach, and what we do is, you know, we'll go through sessions 2 days before. I'll say what I want. He'll plan it out. He'll deliver it, and I'll step in. But I don't need to step in because I don't want to undermine somebody who's worked hard to put a session on. You know, so again, everybody's got their own specific role, and without them, I wouldn't be able to get that group playing to the best of their ability.
I love that. Dee, just a quick one from you on a player's perspective as well. You know, I know it's a bit awkward, the gaffer being there, but talk to me about the season for you and how you felt and the team and the staff and Robbie and the club in general, because it's a monster of a football club. The fan base, amazing. Infrastructure, amazing. Like, it's a league club, innit? Let's have it right. So how's it been for you?
No, like Robbie said, when I first come, he sat me down, he told me there's only one thing we want to do, which is get promoted. And I bought into it, and like I said, that changing room is... it's just like it's a family. Like everyone,
I love it.
No matter if you're
not going crazy golfing.
Big trouble, you're in big trouble. No, but it's a proper like.
I'll explain that later.
Yeah, I love
it's a
that.
proper team. Like it's so hard to find a team. Like even after the games, everyone goes into the bar after. All the families are mingling. There's no groups.
Amazing.
Like everyone can like speak to each other and not feel a type of way, and we can speak to the gaffer in like certain ways we want, as in like good. Not just the coach but as a player as well. So I think that's and he does have an input on a Thursday morning for an hour with murder ball. That's all he's got. All he's got, 1 hour. He's like,
I changed it. If it's not broken, why change it?
Hey, listen, you're riding high.
It's rigged as well, to be fair.
Rigged.
Whoever gets the first point, they lose the whole thing, and all the boys go mad. So no, but it's been an amazing season, and next year we go again, don't we?
No, brilliant, and a step up.
Do you know what, on D, you know, and I'm sure we'll come on to it. Young players and players who may find themselves not where they want to be, and D is a great example. Listen, James Berry, I've got so many examples. When D come in, obviously, you know, as a player, I was always in contract, I was always secure. Yeah. When D left Man United and went to Wickham and Rochdale, then he was up at Gateshead. And then when I had the phone call, you know, would you be interested in Dmani? I knew Dmani from Charlie's days. And of course, I'm always interested in very good players, which D is. But what D had to do is come to Mac and find himself. Listen, it was brave, because I know subconsciously D will still think he can play in the league, but you find your level at a certain point. D's level might be League 1, League 2, might be the Championship, but until you find yourself at a level where you play regular games and put a smile back on your face and fall back in love with football, and have a manager who D knows if he's fit and he's playing at a consistent level, he'll play. And I think there's no better feeling for any player to have that feel of a manager who cares about it. And I do with 18, 20 players I've got, but only 11 can start. But my philosophy is I wanted to have 18 to 20 starters. I know it's more difficult for me because, you know, only 11 can start games, and they all want to start right. D wants to start. I remember when I left D out, you know, he was quiet, but yeah,
but winner though, innit?
He wants to play. But trying to convince D that this was right for him, and it's difficult because you're thinking, I was playing the league, I'm going to step 3 as it was. But if you believe in a project, and you believe that, you know, in a manager who believes in you, you can play your best football. You can play with a smile on your face. And I think what D did, he bought into it. You know, in the summer when we've renegotiated, you know, of course you want to get the most money for yourself, but what I've said to my players is, don't give yourself away. So James Berry is another great example. James Berry, Liverpool, come through, played in the league, come to us, believed in the project, and he could have left on a free, but he didn't. You know, he believed in the project and he went for a considerable amount of money, and then he went again because he didn't give himself away at the end of the season. You know, because as a player, just say D would have been a free now, he might have gone somewhere. He might have gone to the National League or League 2, but he wouldn't have played. You know, I don't think he would have. He'll say he would have because he believes in his own ability. I believe in D, like you wouldn't believe. But there comes a point where if you sign a contract, which D has, and he's performing and he's scoring goals, and I've said and I've promised him, as I've done all my players, I'm never going to stand in your way. And listen, this is on the pod now, it's on record. If somebody comes in and you've got a chance to make more money for you and your family, I'm not going to stand in your way. If you can double your money and, you know, go and play league football at a club that wants you and you're going to play, I'm not going to stand in your way. That's not fair for me to say to Dmani, listen, thank you for everything. Listen, if somebody come in for and took the mick out of us, of course.
I get it on a club's perspective.
But if it's fair, I'm never going to stand in a young kid's way to go and fulfil their dream to get more money for them and their family. But first and foremost, make sure you're playing regular. Make sure you don't give yourself away. Play with a smile on your face and score goals or create goals, which he's done. And it's numbers. It's a numbers game now, and the stats are right up there. So I'm delighted he joined it. You know, he you know, I had to ring Keith numerous times in the summer.
Shout out to Keith. Keith's a great bloke, you know. What a guy.
But inevitably, it comes down to the player. And it was D who said, I want to sign. And from that minute on, we done the deal, and I'm absolutely delighted that we got him. Yeah,
there's two things on that. I think personal development's massive. I think, you know, you as a manager, you always got to empower your players. And like you said, if clubs do come in, you as a manager and values the club's values and your values, you can't stand in the way, can you?
No.
Because again, you've had a career, you've done really well. You can't stand in the way. I think with D coming in later in the season that you had, the confidence growing, the goals, the assists, I'm excited about you next year with a full pre-season, get at it, full season, and let's see where you are. But I think his potential, like you, like massive, like league, for me, I see it, league footballer, no doubt. But do agree with what you say, though, about he has to play, the minutes are important, build that profile. I get that. I really do.
I spoke to you, Ryan. I spoke to Ryan. I spoke to Ryan numerous times. I said, listen, what's D thinking? What's this? What's that? Because I need to, know what the player's thinking. And, Ryan would never disclose anything personally about but I said, I need to get there. I want him. Does he not understand? And, we had numerous conversations with Keith, with your agent. But I want to be spoken to like I would want to be spoken to at times. People, people speak to you in negative ways, which I don't think is right. But again, that's passion, that's emotion, that's people trying to get the best for their player.
Definitely.
So again, with D, he's, listen, I might be talking out of turn here, but I'm only doing it, constructively. I think is he a 9? Is he a wide player? Is he a 10? Is he a 9.5? I think D is a footballer. So I played D as a 6 once. He can play football.
Yeah.
So
technically, he's brilliant. Intelligence.
His attitude. Listen, I'm not just saying this, and it might be a bit embarrassing for him, but he's a great kid. Absolute smile on his face.
Don't know about that.
And I knew that. But listen, you can be the best player in the world, but you need to fit into a dressing room with good characters, good people, and that's what D is. So that makes him even more, attractive for me as a player because of his attitude.
The way he carries himself around the place and stuff,
And as a player, when you work hard, it sets a tone for everybody else. And if I say, look at D working hard, why can't you work hard?
Yeah.
So again, I play him as a 10 now, and I think that's what he is personally. I think as a 9, being the focal point, there's added pressure on him to score goals. Yeah. I don't know if he wants number 10 or number 9 next season. There's him and Danny Elliott arguing. I've got to make a decision.
Well, we're on more than a match here now, so...
But you just said I'm on number 10, so I think it's settled there, innit?
So I think Danny Elliott, 41 goals, is a 9. Because I can't play Danny Elliott as a 10 or a 6.
Can I ask a question? You play 1, don't you? You play with a 1.
4-2-3-1.
Okay. So... For me, like you said there, in that 1, it's you're isolated, aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got to hold the ball up, pick up scraps, be in right areas.
You're not in the game.
D likes to come in and drop in and play. Would you ever look to play a 2, or would you not?
We have done. Okay. We have done.
So you play with Danny and D as the 2.
I play with Danny and D, as a 2. But
how do you feel about playing in the 1 rather than the 2?
I think the 1's harder, like you said. You have to stay up the pitch, and sometimes I feel like
get drawn to it. You want to get involved.
You're up top, and you're like, I want to get involved. So you naturally start to drift lower, and then. And then there might not be someone up top.
Yeah, because as you drop into them spaces, it gets...
Someone needs to fill it, but then they're all trying to get the ball as well.
His numbers-wise, was it 20 goals? And I don't know how many assists. So much 30 goal involvements in 30-odd games.
Yeah, no, very good.
As a 10, so I would say that as a manager, I think I've seen... I don't know if you've played a 10 early in your career, but I've seen you more as a 9 and wide. So as a 10, and it's probably his first...
Proper season
in senior football, his stats... are now there where you present it as an agent or if people look after him. Well, regardless of the step, because of the magnitude, the size of the football club, as a league club, as you said, his stats now, when teams are looking at it, right, let me see your numbers, senior football, first proper season, 30 goal involvements, 20 goals as a 10. So that goes
the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, it all comes down to obviously one, feeling wanted. And the environment, like if you're in a good environment and you're happy, then the football leaves it to itself, doesn't it?
We always talk about it on here, Sav, about confidence breeds everything, doesn't it? When you're confident and as a player as well, you can feel like you can try things, and if you've got a manager on the side that will encourage you to do things, and if it doesn't go right, then go and do it again. And like you said, if you're fit and you're doing your thing, you play, don't you? I think that is massive, that belief.
It's with like Charlie, who Dean knows, was at Reading. Ruben Sellers was great with him, but there'd be times in games when if it was 0-0 or they were losing or he made a mistake, you're looking at the board, 60 minutes, he knows he's coming off. And then what would happen in that 60 minutes then? He would think, right, I've got to do something out of the ordinary to stay on the pitch or to stay in the team. But again, now with under Noel Hunt, probably a manager who's put an arm around him, who believes in him, as Ruben did. But Charlie knows now, if he's fit and if he continues the standard he's set, he's not looking round. And his performance in the second half of the season, probably one of the best players in League One. And I think D knows that, unless something extraordinary happens, he's going to play and he's going to stay on the pitch. I'm not just saying that for him, there's other players like that, and I was like that.
Yeah.
You know, so again, there'll be players in all teams who will be in a position where might be coming off here.
Yeah.
Danny Elliott, we had a little joke,
Yeah.
65 minutes, he'd be coming off.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I always do it for the benefit of the team. It's nothing personal. You have to make big decisions.
Yeah. Let's just clear it up on here now, because when Tom was on, I think Sava's got a soft spot for you. I think you are like the favourite.
No, there's no
And I
favourites.
do. Like, not favourite, but he's like, you know what I mean? He's on here now, he's just saying good things.
All
about
managers
it.
are favourites.
Yeah, so we... Oh,
No.
oh, I'm gonna... Oh, here we go. More than a match exclusive here.
No, I wouldn't say it's favourites. I would say, like, rely...
No, I wouldn't
like,
say it's... don't mean it like that's banter way, but I get what you're saying. Like
I'll do a shift. Like, if he wants me to do something, he knows.
right,
like, Dmani,
yeah,
put him
I
on
get
the
that.
right. Yeah.
I get that. I get that. But like,
obviously, I don't want to do
He
it.
shakes his head.
yeah,
Yeah.
does there?
But then I know,
Body
like,
language and that.
So at times,
never that.
but at times, so D, because he's instrumental in the way I want to play, I know for a fact that, so Danny Elliott, I'm just taking Danny Elliott as an example, he's a 9.
Yeah.
But Danny can go out wide, but he can put a shift in.
Yeah.
But with D, so if we need a goal or something happens, like Hebburn away, do you remember I put brought Sam on up front, and I think I left Danny on. I can't remember what it was, but inevitably I have to do what's best for the team. When you say favourites, Danny Elliott will know 65, 70 minutes as a lone striker, he might come off.
Yeah.
You know, so he probably knows that.
Yeah.
Whereas D, I can put D on the right, on the left, as a 10, as a 6. So I can leave him on and adapt the team because I know he can play 4 or 5 positions. Where other people, Danny Elliott can replay up front or wide.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, and at the minute where I've just signed, you know, D's cousin, Isaac Buckley-Ricketts. He's got pace. He can play right, left, or a 9.
Yeah.
So again, there's players who I'll leave on the pitch because I know they can do 4 or 5 roles, and it's like another player.
Like you would say in a manager, if someone's not happy with a decision, leave it 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
Discuss it later, because there is learning to be done. If you do have a bad game, you might, you know, there's VOs or whatever, you can watch the games back, and there is a productive thing to do with it.
Yeah.
So,
but like, back off a little bit. It's too much, innit?
So as a manager, I've learned, and D, we'll come on to it, but of course, I'm an emotional person, and we've won a lot of games this year, so I haven't have to have been emotional after games. I'm emotional when we win, and you know it's a great jovial place.
Yep.
But as a manager and as a parent, if you're emotional after the game, you're only doing it for you.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent in the car and you're frustrated, you're watching that game and you're thinking, why isn't my son or daughter done X, Y, and Z? When you get in the car, if you ever go to them, it's for you.
Yeah.
Make you feel a little bit better. Yeah, definitely.
Has it been games where, like, say, like Charlie didn't play as, like, felt like he had a not a good game? Like, does he come to you or like?
Yeah, I know him. So we got this
or does he
thing.
stay quiet?
So we got this thing. So you know how I feel about both my kids.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, but I'm honest.
Yeah.
And at times, he says to me, if I say you done all right,
he knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
I say you done all right.
Yeah.
But because I never want to say you done poor. Because
confidence
he's
and
done, you know, he'll always do okay because of his work ethic.
Yeah.
So he'll always do okay.
Yeah.
You know, but if I say to him, he'll say straight away. He'll come on the phone because Charlie doesn't speak much. He'll come on the phone. He said, "What do you think, Dad?" And I'll say, "You done all right." He said, "Well, didn't I play well then?" I said, "No, you did X, Y, and that good."
Yeah.
But again, we know now we got such a great relationship with both Charlie and Freddie. We're going to how they got drunk
Love that.
soon. But again, we know, and I know that his disappointment. I know him so well, and he'll know when he's not performed to the
you
best
do as a
of his
player,
ability.
don't you? You just know it's personal pride, innit?
Right, is me saying, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah, no, you don't need
He'll
that.
feel bad enough as it is.
Yeah.
I think it's important, again, because we try and educate, to highlight that, though, and to get your advice on that.
Yeah.
You know, having the career and the manager, it's important,
Do you
innit?
think, like, Charlie growing up, and obviously the career you had, there was a bit of added pressure for him?
Yeah, it is. People say he's at Man United because I was there. You know, come on, listen, it's ridiculous. He's got more opportunity. Well, it's not.
If United didn't want him, they wouldn't have him.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, the fact is that when I used to turn up to games, you know, people say, "Oh, which is Charlie? He must be a good player. He must be this, he must be that."
Yeah.
And at the time, because he was, again, he's a great example. Every stage you got to hit, he was probably 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Physicality.
Yeah.
You know, output. But again, what you see, and I've seen D play as a youngster, but what I could see with Charlie was because he was physically, and you know this in your coaching, you know, people grow at different rates.
Late developers
First quarter,
and stuff,
second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Charlie was a fourth quarter. You know, so, you know, in this country, you do school years abroad, you do 2001 or 2002. So I could always see in Charlie that he could see a pass. But because he physically wasn't be able to get there, he could see it a second before I could see it. He'd try it, but it might hit the first person. And then parents were saying, "Oh, he's not very good, is he?" But again,
he sees it,
I knew that brilliant. So I'd come off a game and I'd say, "Listen, that was brilliant, son. You've seen it." Obviously, when you get you
physically ready to do it,
you know, you'll get there. And again, every stage at Man United, he was probably on the cusp of getting released, but he had that determination. And people, and this is it, people can see it. People can see it.
But like you said, like every pre-season, Charlie used to come in, and we used to think, don't come next to me. You would just like lap everyone and you think, what the hell's going on?
But that's good though.
That gives him another, like Sav said, it gives him something else to the game, because you might be talented than me, but if you can last longer, you're going to stay on the pitch.
You know what it's like,
intensity levels and stuff.
You know what it's like, and I was the same pre-season. So you'd have lads saying, slow down, Sav, slow down. And I'd say, no, listen.
Doing it for yourself.
It's for me. You know, if I'm making you look bad, I've worked hard off season, you know, doing beach runs, doing hill runs. I'd have a week off and I'd hit it, because I knew that I'd have to go back, and I wanted to blow everybody away. And if you're saying that the lads are shouting at you at the front, or the doggies or whatever, listen, like, slow down. No, I'm doing it for me. Because you're not going to pay my bills, or you're if you're in the team and I'm not, and I've slowed down for you.
As much as it's a team game, it's about yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, because like I'm so like passionate about that, not just because of the coaching as well, but it's fine margins, and if you go back like absolutely sharp flying, that could be a difference between you playing and you're not playing. Simple as that. You could go back and on the fringes, you might have a player now where it's like comes on here there, and if he comes back in pre-season, he's fitter than you. He goes.
It gives you like a something to think about. Do you know what I mean? Like, right.
And do you know what? And I'm fair. Listen, one thing I think I am, as was a player, I was honest. You know, I was honest and everything I could. And I think as a manager, I think I'm like that. And there was time Lewis Fensham, who wasn't going to be in the team, but he worked hard, great character, great kid, got his opportunity, and probably become one of, if not our best defender towards the end of the season.
He's been like class this season. Like I look at him and I think, right, like this guy is very good.
Go to war, trenches.
But do you know what
like
the thing with him as well is, like, he doesn't complain. So he might be not playing, but then when he comes on, he's just as good, like
professional.
But then as a manager, I'd ask you then. So for me, it's a great point, and management. So I've got people in my team who'd knock on the door, like shake their head, be controversial in terms of the way they spoke to me. I don't mind that. But as Lewis Fensham, as a manager, and people would say to me, well, you can leave Lewis, he's not going to say anything.
Yeah, but that's not right though, is it?
But again, so which one would you rather be, as a player or as a manager? Would you rather somebody knocking on your door being controversial? But that's not taking, both are right in a way. Because as a manager, I knew at times with Lewis that because he's such a great kid, and I did it, do you remember, dear? And I left him out, and he was apt, and I shouldn't have. But in my mind, subconsciously, I thought I'll have less problems if I leave Lewis out. Which is wrong. But it gives me an easy option. It gives me an easy option.
I think everyone's personality is different as well. Like,
but when I say like don't complain, I don't mean like he's not bothered. I mean like
no, he is bothered.
To us, like he would say like, well, I'm not playing. Obviously, like that's what football. You're a footballer. You want to play.
100%.
But at the end of the day, like it's your decision, isn't it?
But going back to the point that all players are different, and it's how you manage those players, and to get the best out of an individual and a collective is the hardest thing I've had to do. But he's a great kid, Lewis.
Like I think like I'm not a manager, but to see like managers, it's hard to. Some players like arm around them. Some like to get like what you doing, and that for me, I think that would be the hardest.
What do you like?
Me, I probably like an arm around me. But I think obviously like we have players on the pitch that do that anyway. Like Runes, for instance, like when he's mad at you, you know he is.
Yeah, but
you just try to stay away from him.
Yeah, but I like that.
But then it's good
like
because
standards, isn't it? Professional standards, and like you said, going back to your point there, Robbie, like everyone's different, aren't they, in the dressing room, like different personalities. I think as long as it's done in a constructive way. So if I knock on your door and go, Gaffer, you've left me out. This is why. Explain to me why. Yeah. And you turn back to me and go, well, last performance you didn't do this, and that. Going with him because he's doing that. That's his shirt. Then that's fair, innit? But like,
so I've got examples, right? So talk about Runes. Listen, he's embraced. He's a huge character in the dressing room, and Paul Dawson and Runes sit next to each other. Probably two of the biggest characters in the dressing room. And again, the way I've managed Runes, who, by the way, what a player.
Yeah, I've seen him. I like him a lot, yeah.
And he's embraced what we wanted to do. He buys into it. But again, it's how I've managed John. Yeah. And John's competitive. He wants the best. He's got standards.
Played at a good level as well.
Brilliant.
Good career.
And do you know what? I've been absolutely delighted. But again, I've had to lay the marker down a couple of times. I think it's Tadcaster away. When, I've had to say in front of all the lads, I think I respect everybody in this dressing room. Just give me a bit of respect back.
Yeah.
Dawes, I
like Dawes. Yeah. I like him. Yeah. I like his personality. I like it. I like him as a player as well. Like I said on here, bad celebrations. Good guy. Good player. I like him. Not too sure about the sailor one. I've mentioned it.
But
before.
Listen again, big character.
No, I like him.
And I've had to leave Dawes out a couple of times. And an example, we played Curs and Ashton away. And I played the lads who needed minutes. But again, with the squad I've built, I've got 18 starters. Yeah. So the 5 who started that game, who'd been on the bench the previous week, could all easily start in my first 11. Yeah. And I think Alex couldn't score 2. Was magnificent. Was magnificent, right? And what a player. Listen, great guy.
Yeah, very nice.
Good family. He's got the Curzon now because he wanted to play minutes. Yeah. I facilitated that for him. Yeah. The fee I got, I could have got more, but he wanted to play, and I was honest. So I said, go and play. But again, he scored 2. We won the game on penalties, and the following game I left him out, and he was disappointed. But I said, well, I've left 5 players out of the team who the week before had won the game and would be magnificent all season. We haven't been beat. So I'm going to put them back in because I've rested those players. Yeah. So if I've rested you, Rai, for Alex, and you're not playing the following week, I've given myself a massive problem.
Yeah, because he's got the the shirt, hasn't he?
So you have to understand that. And as a player, I didn't really understand that because I want to play every game, every minute. But next season, with 18 starters, there will be times when good players get left out. And it's how you manage those players.
Yeah, I agree, totally. Yeah.
It is tough.
It's mint, it's mint talking about, like, obviously you're a gaffer now, we're talking about, like, the lads and that. It's mint, isn't it?
But I think, like, how do you distinguish being a gaffer and, obviously, you're a player as well? Do you know what I mean? So, that's like, it's hard.
Like standards-wise.
Do you know what thing I've never done? One thing I've never done, and I think what I've never done is I've never thought that I was better than the level where I'm at now, because I'm at that level. So this is my 5th season in non-league, and I could say, and I've at the level I want to be professional, I want to be like a league club, I want to have my standards, and when we've played against opposition teams, I understand why they'll be at that level all their lives.
Okay.
I get it. I get it, because that's no disrespect, because managers and players at this level will find their level, but it's how you conduct yourself in winning games and defeat. And when we see it how others react when we get beat.
But like I said, Macclesfield is potential. It's a league club, innit? Yeah, there are a lot of fans. We yourself, the players, the facilities, everything. So that's like people in them leagues. That's the cup final, innit?
Yeah. So he says it every game.
So how would
this is like a cup final?
So like them, like that's everything.
But as a player and as a top coach, I've come in from, listen, I could say what I've done in the game, like to play 12 seasons in the Premier League, 350 games, captain 4 Premier League clubs. I could say that attitude.
It's not bad, is it, that?
But he didn't make his debut.
Didn't play for Man United. Which I tell him.
Dmani's show today.
And when I said that to Charlie, he said, well, you didn't play in the Champions League.
Yes, love that.
If I come in with that attitude, and people have said to me, when I held court at a table in the Europa League final with Gareth Bale, Rio, Scholesy, Glenn Hoddle, and I'm holding court and creating debate because I can do that. That's my environment. What people have said to me, at the level you're at, when people give the ball away simple, they can't see it, or they do this, do that. How do you react? But you can't do it, but I can because I'm at the level.
Yeah.
And if I come in with the attitude of, well, I'm better than all you, I've done more than all you, and they will tell you, I've never said once, I don't think, to the group, maybe tongue-in-cheek on a few occasions, but never have I thought ever that I'm better than any single one of my players in the dressing room. I'm on a level.
Because you set the standards, don't you? Like, you're the enforcer, like you said. You hold the court.
But even, like, we was 10 points clear the whole season, really. And, like, I remember leak at home. Like,
so do I.
After that game, we had it's not like a crisis. Like, it was a bit of a crisis meeting, and we was like, why is this? Like, we're 10 points clear. Like, there's no need to panic.
Standards, isn't it?
But like,
win the league as quick as possible, isn't it?
But it was like a bollocking. But that was because of his standards.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? He wants us to be 20 points clear, which we ended up doing basically. And
but we know why we lost that game.
Yeah.
So we know why we lost it because I've gone home. So as a player, you go home and you think about yourself. You're thinking, am I going to play next week? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And I wouldn't speak for 2 days after the game if I lost as a player. That was horrific. As a manager, it's 100 times worse.
Is it? Yeah.
So I've gone on Boxing Day, biggest crowd of the season. Our biggest crowd since we lost to Marine in the playoff final. Again, so I've gone home thinking, what has gone on there? We were miles off it. It wasn't a great game. They deserved to win the game.
Yeah.
And I've gone home and I am obsessed.
Yeah.
Addicted to the point where I've got
watching the games back and that.
Obsessed. Yeah. And I've got to think, why? What happened? That's not us.
Break it down.
Anyway, so I realised what it was. And I've always said to our players, right? Budgets, you can talk about budgets all day. You will finish where you budget. 2 or 3 places. And if you look at the Premier League this year, the budgets will dictate where you finish. We should be finishing in the top 2.
I think I know what you're going to say,
No doubt about it. We should be. Yeah. So if you've got the best players, which a big budget has allowed you to bring in, which we have, no question about it. Good people, good players. You've got to be able to run and be fit. If the best players run harder and more, fitness, and sprint more,
you win.
Intensity,
you've got more chance to win the game. That league game, it was our worst stats of the season. We were miles off it. Half the distance covered and half the number of sprints.
When was it?
Boxing Day.
There you go then.
But that was
Christmas Day. No, but professionalism wasn't
he
right.
Said
then,
that though.
It?
He said like, make sure like we've got a big game. Make sure you eat right, and don't just let's just win this game because it's a massive game. And then the crowd was there, and he's like, he doesn't want it to be like.
They don't come back then, do they? That's the thing. No, for you in your mind, you're thinking that's a chance to
because of the Marine game.
Yeah,
the tendency started at 2-4, 2-5, and probably it was the disappointment, and it took us a long time last season to build up the crowd again. And we got there, and again we lost in front of a big crowd, anticipated. And we had the meeting, and I don't listen. I'm not one for meetings. They'll tell you I'm not one for meetings, and we'll come on to my team talks and everything. I'm not one for meetings, but I had to get out there because I said there was 2 occasions, that game and Ashton away, which was not long after, and I said we won't lose another game after the Ashton game. We didn't, but again the stats were there, so I knew why we didn't win. And I said from now on we have to hit these standards, and they did.
And we'll win. You said, well, if you hit these standards every game, we'll win.
Yeah, we did.
And since then, we got more, I think.
Yeah, I love that.
And we won every game.
And we went to Hyde on New Year's Day, and we won 5-2.
Yeah.
And the lads were magnificent, and they're the best running stats of the season.
Brilliant. So again, a reaction.
Yeah.
The amount of players and agents I've had on the phone this summer, frightening.
Yeah.
Big names. So they want to play for man.
Yeah, but I think like you're saying, I think what comes with that though is team spirit. You can't just have team spirit. It's like I've been to quite a few teams now, and when you have that team spirit, you just feel like you feel unstoppable. Like you go on that pitch, and you even if you go 1-0 down, you think, all right,
don't
sweet,
worry about
we're still gonna win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's just because the bond we have.
And that was due to the trip in Portugal.
Yeah,
do you know what? Yeah, that trip was like a. Before it, I was thinking, what do you expect here? Like, there's some people that don't drink, and there's players that might not have a drink more than others. But then everyone on that trip was just like. It's the best trip I've ever been on.
So Sam Heathcote, so when I said earlier, let's go crazy golfing. Is that Steve Bratton?
Yeah.
Brilliant. You know, the lads.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
So anyway, Big Sam. So every team has a budget, right? And I offered, and I said at the start of the season, whether this is right or wrong, because Dee wasn't there. So when I took over, I said to the lads, right, if I'm standing here this time next season, that means we've won the league. Because I will walk out of this football club if we don't win the league, because people have said, and I've heard it, you know, everything gets back to me. He thinks he knows what he's doing. He tells everyone what to do. He interferes. He does this. He does that. So when I took the job, because I could have left, I knew that if I didn't win the league, or we didn't win the league, I was done. Yeah. Okay. I was done in terms of my pride. Everybody would, you know, come for me. I get it. Yeah. So again, it was all on the line, and not just as a manager, because if I'd have failed, with a big budget, which I get, I couldn't be a manager ever again. I wouldn't be. I'd have to leave the football club because I couldn't show my face there with the fans, because they'd have come for me because there was a lot of negativity. I'd have to have left and just said, do you know what, Rob, who's my partner, who I've built the club with, and I love it, I'm done. So everything was on the line, not just for me as a manager, but for me
pride
with the football club. I'd have gone. So I said to the lads, listen, let's be totally honest now. I said, most of you are here because we pay the most money. Let's get it right. Let's be totally honest. Yeah, you've got more money playing for us than you would have, because you've dropped down a level, but you've gone to a bigger club. But so you're here, a lot of you will be here because we pay you the most money. So if we win the league, I can guarantee you 95% of you will still be here, and I'll offer you the same or more money. Yeah. So you can do better for your families. You got a lot more money.
H&RH.
Well done, Keith. But again, I was true to my word, and the offers went out, and the reason why, you know, I think they bought into it because I was honest. Yeah. So I'm not going to say, you know, you're here because you love football. Yeah. You're here because you play for a massive football club and you're on very, very good money. Yeah. You know, again, we're paying. I know somebody who's just gone into League 2 full time on. There's 5 or 6 players, 7 or 8 players at our football club on more than that player. Yeah. So again, we pay. No, it's true. We pay.
I'm not.
We pay money to players because we want to get back to where we want to get to, and we know that. Listen, we know, and when we get hammered all the time.
There's teams when we play them, they're like, "Oh, you're full time, use." We're like, "Why not?"
You're thinking that because you're training a day and stuff.
Yeah, but then that's like a compliment to us, though. We're like, you think we're full time, and we're part time, and we're still doing this to you. Like we played teams what are full time, and we've rolled over them, and it's like, what the hell? This is mad. This.
Nah, it's brilliant, the season that you've had. It's crazy. That when you're in the restaurant and all the lads are like singing.
That was great. And I was going back. I went off topic. So Sam. So again, we have budgets, and I offered Sam an amount. And obviously, but Sam was honest and open and said, listen, I want to look at my options at the start. I want to play more. And I get it. Listen, no problem, Sam. Listen, we'd love to have you, but there's going to come a point where that offer's off the table, because when you're managing budgets, if a player becomes available, I'll use that money. Sam was fair. He was honest. We went to Portugal. Wow. So when we say, let's go crazy golf, that was on, you're in big trouble. They were Sam saying. He was, as all the lads were, they were so good together. Looked after my Freddie, my youngest one. They were brilliant. So when we've got back, my partner Rob said, listen, we've got to keep Sam. And I said, I wanted to keep him anyway. So we offered him a little bit more. He agreed, he signed. Because after that trip, he said, I can't leave.
Nah, it's mega.
I can't leave.
I think it's important as well, because there's players in the change room that have big presence and need to. If that player goes, it might be I bring someone in. It might not work.
Not be the same,
do you know what I mean? So to keep what you have done, to keep all the players together like that, it's like
everyone's retained, right?
Yeah,
more or less. Everyone's retained. And the big thing was, Lewis Fensom lost his phone. His phone. So he's come back. He lost his phone. Anyway, so the story goes, he
find my iPhone. All he had to do is go and find my iPhone. He didn't even try that.
But it wasn't charged. So what's happened is he went to a bar. he's obviously had a few drinks. He's plugged it in
the charger,
and it's not charged for a day or something. So it's not there. Anyway, it come on. So all the lads knew. Oh, we found my iPhone. It was in a bar. So it was the night of the Arsenal PSG.
Yeah.
So me and Rob had organised a table and all that. I said we'd be there in half an hour. They all went together.
4 taxis.
We're
going to get his phone back.
To get the phone.
So the phone was at the bar where you was?
No, the phone at the bar when he'd left there. He couldn't remember because it come on.
4 taxis, that's mega.
The good thing was that in previous years, there had been 4 people might have gone, or 5. And there was in a group of 20, 5 might have been there, 6 over there. But this group, in case something happened, they all got 4 taxis. They all went together to get his phone.
Because we said we're going to get his phone back. It was me, Dawson, someone else, and everyone was like, "Nah, we'll all go." I was like, "All right, let's go." And we went in, and was like, let's see if his phone's there. And then we was all like, right. We was waiting for it to come on. We was waiting for it to come on because I think they left it, and then clicked the screen. He was like, "It's my phone." It was like,
that's the relief.
That sums up where the group are. Yeah. And they'll all get hammered. Well, you're there for the money, you're there for that, But
you can't buy that.
You can't buy that.
You can't buy that togetherness. You can't.
Well, we have bought it.
Click that up. Everyone will love that.
No, you can't buy that.
And that's going to give us.
Buy that.
So next season, that's going to give us 5 or 10 points because it's going to be a tough league. There's teams
of course it is.
Who
step up a level.
Big clubs, but but exciting.
But even like we played Altrincham, and we went down to 10 men, and was thinking, oh my god, like 10 men, and like what was it like the first?
You're on the right, weren't you?
Yeah. Was it like the 20th? It was early in the game. 25th minute. But we took it all the way to penalties. Yeah. 10 men down, and they're like National League club.
Dig in that grit, that
and that just shows you how much of a team we are, because we had 80 minutes left to play, basically, and we just stuck together. And we come in at half time.
Could have won it all, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have. We was coming at half time, everyone's just knackered. Yeah. It was like, lads, you know what, let's just do this.
Just do it. Keep
and everyone was like pumped up, and we took it all the way to penalties, and unfortunately we lost. But that just shows you how much of a team.
So proud of them that day. Yeah. They were incredible. The fans behind the goal, 1,000. I was so proud of them because that was my team. Yeah, that was my team.
Yeah.
And this is the question I'll ask you two. So, as a manager who's played at the level, to come and do my first job at step 3, a lot of players would think, I'm not dropping down with my career, would not drop down to that level.
Yeah. They feel entitled to.
Entitled to get a bigger job,
So, listen, I'm not going down there. Yeah. But I did it because of circumstance and because of, Rob, who got me into the football club. Financially, it didn't cost me anything because he was the one who financed it all. But I wanted to go on this journey. So now, would you rather be a coach? You're a coach who had a similar, had a similar career to me. Would I have been better going into a league club as a coach? Yeah. And if that manager was to lose his job, catapulted into that role, and if I had 10 good games, might get that job, or might get another one in the league, or do the route I'm doing, where people might say, well, he's only managing a step 3 with a big budget. Of course he should win the league. When do I get an opportunity to go in the league? Unless that's with Mac. As a chairman, or as a director of football, would you want to take me in, a big personality who's been a director of football, who's strong-minded? Would you want to take me in thinking, well, he's only managed at that level?
Yeah. No, but at the end of the day, there's no guarantees that you could go into a club and then get a job, in like a first-team job. So the route that you've gone straight into the big job, haven't you?
You've established
and you've won the league, so clubs will obviously look at that.
But people think it was step 3.
No, to win a league at any league is hard. Like football,
it's your first, and it's your first. I know you've been around football. Let's have it right. That's as a player. I know you've done a director of football role, but this is your first managerial. So again, you're learning. It sounds awful and no disrespect to it, but you're also learning on the job. So when you get
you say that
a higher job,
lads, like, I'm still learning. Like you use the learning, I'm learning.
If you get a bigger job, you've learned from them experiences, even though it's less of a level. And again, no disrespect. Then that stands you in good stead for when you do make that journey.
I'm glad I'm doing it this way because I've made loads of mistakes. I'm honest with them. I'm honest with the lads. Remember, D, there's been times this season when FC United away. We won the game, Runes, with a great last. You scored the opening 5 minutes. Mistake from the goalkeeper. The defender got round and put it in, and then Runes scored. And I remember after the game, last minute, Max Durnley,
oh my God,
great, brilliant goalie, best sign one of the best signs I've made. Saved it in the last minute, 1-on-1. So Big Sam has played offside. He's run forward, played offside. The guy goes through. So after the game, I've come in and said, listen, that's great, blah, blah. I said, but listen, Sam, told you at half-time. Remember, half-time, I said, the only way... So I think I can see what's going to happen before it does at times, because of the way half goes. So I said, Sam, wherever you do not play offside. Give yourself 5 yards, run back. Yeah, the danger's the goal. You're running away from the goal. We don't play offside. You're running away from the danger. Go towards the danger. Anyway, and remember it. Tries to play offside. So after the game, I've come in.
Go mad.
I've said, right, why'd you play off? Why? Well done, Max. Blah blah. Why did you play offside? I didn't. Remember? I've gone. Well, no, Sam. You did.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't. I went. Say what I do then, because the emotion. Now, no, don't be emotional. Don't start. We won the game. I said, what we'll do? We'll watch the video, and I'll be right.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be. I will be. Anyway, get the video.
We love it.
Get the video. Get the video, and I'm like this.
Oh my god!
You sit on your box, don't you? You sit on the box, don't you? You sit on the box.
In the back. I can't stand up for so long, so my back. Again, does that look unprofessional? But I can't. My back.
Yeah, Bielsa did it, didn't he?
Yeah. So anyway, I was right. So I've said to Sam, there you go. I was right. And then we done one with Brandon Lee again. So I've said to Brandon, something happened. I said, Brandon. He went, no, I didn't. I went, yes, you did. Well, watch the video on Tuesday, and then I'll be right. But if I'm wrong, he'll tell you. I'll say,
I apologise.
I got that wrong. I'm learning. I'll make mistakes. I've made mistakes in team talks. I've made mistakes. I've done this. But I'll say to the lads, because I'm with them. We're together. And there's a point where, as a manager, where's the line? So going to Portugal, I try to isolate myself. But again, if you isolate yourself, and we're talking about the level now, then the higher you go, you'll have to isolate yourself.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, in terms of there's a line.
Yeah.
And with this group, in a way, I don't want there to be a line.
Yeah,
because the camaraderie together we've got, and I think they trust me, they believe in me, I think we're together. In Portugal, I was with them.
Yeah.
I went out for a meal.
Yeah, but I think the boys,
the
boys all appreciate that though. Like, we loved it that you was with us. Like, we said, okay, Gaffer had a good time last night. He was with us.
But I trusted him. When you're in the public eye, I've already got so many close friends because of trust. And because the higher you go, the less people you can trust. And listen, I've been let down so many occasions by people I thought I could trust. Financially, everything has been, it's been tough at times, but I want there to be a line, and there is a line.
Yeah.
But you're getting told to move on here, it's onboarding you.
No. I just moved up. What's going on? I just moved up. I told you.
So again, the line as a manager, I think I've got it right. I don't know if I have, but again, I think I read books, I will get if I think I know everything, I've got nothing to learn. You can't be. I've got so much to learn.
Everyone learns,
but I think we're doing okay.
Always developing.
We're doing okay at the minute.
Yeah.
Listen, next year is going to be a test for us all because
be good.
We'll lose consecutive games. It's how I react. It's how the players react. How the fans react. Everybody will want to beat us again. There's no question about that. I think we should finish in the top 7 with our budget. We won't have the biggest budget, but we'll have a big one to compete. We'll have the best fan base probably because Scunthorpe will go up. So have the biggest attendances. Expectation will be the same as this season.
Always does with
the pressure on the players is massive because some haven't played at this level. So about 8 or 9 players wouldn't have played at this level. I've never managed at this level.
Played higher than that, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, so I mean, he has played higher. But again,
on a
consecutive level, on a consecutive number of games, this is the highest he's played consecutively, where he knows he's going to play if he performs. So again, there'll be people out there, and there's better managers in that league than me. So as a group, I think we should finish in the top 7. I'm not going to sit here next year if we do another pod, if this is still going. Probably numbers will be massive after this one.
Oh my God. This is
welcome to the Robbie Show, guys.
Robbie Show.
If you didn't know.
Dean knows I'm my banter.
I love it. It's brilliant. Staying in though, Robbie. Nice one.
So if we finish top 7 in the playoffs, FA Cup first round, which we all want to do because that's on TNT. And if we get on, we'll be on the TV again, which is financially beneficial for the club. You know, FA Trophy, I think we got to a semi-final against Gateshead. Unlucky, conditions weren't great. I think we can get to the FA Trophy final. Carlisle will be in the competition. Mark Hughes. So now I'm managing one level.
Circle, innit?
What managing one level
mega
behind my hero. So again, there's massive expectancy, but it's going to be a huge test because there will be times when we might go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, and it's never happened to me as a manager. Probably hasn't happened to this group, and that's going to be a test.
Now to deal with
of me and my group, and
definitely.
how we stick together.
It's exciting, though, isn't it? It's exciting for the football club, for you as a manager, and you as a player. Be mega on it.
So do you know, as a dad, like obviously you commentated Charlie's debut, didn't you? How was that feeling, like as a dad?
Emotional. You had to all together, but listen, at times emotion gets. I was the tears in my eyes because, you know, whichever his mum. Listen, and I say about my wife, she has been the bedrock of our family because the emotions she's had to go through with me as a player when I've not played well, when things have gone bad, and you know, my wife behind me, she's been the strongest person in our family. She's been incredible, and as a mum to Charlie, she's got to go through it all again. So again, you know, it's been an incredible, you know, journey for us all. But with Charlie, you know, to witness what he's been through when the name on his back, it's not a huge name, but it's a heavy name to carry. You know, for him to hit all the hurdles, and for him to have his name on the board at Carrington, which yours is as well. My name, I never made that. But again, there's nothing more that you want more for your kids is to do better than you in life. You know, and he's done that already in terms of Champions League, which to bring him on in that game when at times he was going to get released, him and Zidane. Zidane's had them two to come all the way through together.
It's an amazing story, that as well, isn't it?
You know, was so emotional. And listen, of course, I wish my father was there to see it, but he wasn't. So for him to do what he did and to prove people wrong, and I think both of us are proving people wrong and still proving people wrong, because there's nothing like people to see Charlie fail because I'm his dad. There's nothing like more than people would like for me to fail. You know, because it's me.
That's just the way people are, though, isn't it?
Deal hear it. Deal from other players.
Jealousy sometimes, isn't it?
You know, but again, all I say is that I've proved people wrong once again. I've proved people wrong all the way through my career. I've proved people wrong in the media, and nothing's been given to me in my life. I've had to work for everything. Media, you know, punditry.
It's not easy, is it? That even you can't just walk into it.
I think it's
hard, isn't it?
When you work for it, it makes it feel a whole lot better. Because I've done it. You know what I mean?
That hard work.
You don't have to say, oh, he's giving me that, or he's giving me that. You say, no, I've done it myself, and that makes it feel 10 times.
So like for you now, if you now end up in a year or 6 months or whenever you do back in the league, because I believe you will, you've taken a gamble as such to drop down levels to play. So you would have believed in yourself, and you've taken that gamble. And it might have gone wrong. If it had gone wrong at Mac, where'd you go from there? So again, like me as a manager, you know, we've both gambled, because if I'd have failed this year, I'm not a manager, I'm done at the football club. But I believed in it, I believed in my players. You've taken the same risk. You've stats now 30 goal involvements in your first season. If your stats are the same next year, throughout the season you might go, you might not. But if you don't go and you get another season of the same, you've just then National League will go full time if you go up, and you even if the club's not successful, but you've earned it. You've earned everything that gets given to you. And I'd say, listen, D, go and fill your boots, go and get double, triple your money.
Class that.
I would, and all I can say as a manager, and I hope, listen, everybody in my dressing room won't like me. I understand that. People will think I like players more than others, and I will.
It's just about being a gaffer, though, isn't it?
But again, what I won't have is people say, well, you know, I was unfair. At times you have to make difficult decisions.
It's your
I'm
job,
going to have to make difficult decisions in July, you know, with players. And I'm going to have to make difficult decisions on August the 9th.
Yeah, definitely.
But as a manager, I'd rather have 18 starters than 11 starters and 7 who I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're not sure of. Definitely.
And I'd rather have those headaches.
Yeah,
that's what good managers want.
Yeah,
headaches.
No, it's exciting for the club and yourself, and even for the players next season. It's unreal, isn't it?
Quick fire.
It's nice that, and also about Charlie as well. That it was very fitting that you was on Cold Comms as well, because that's mega.
But even at his first goal, you should see his reaction.
Yeah, that was on the panel thing. Yeah, the score show.
That was cool.
Yeah,
but again, you imagine a Saturday afternoon, and so not only have you got, because being a manager, I've got so much respect for managers, and I understand why pundits try and being a manager. If it doesn't work out, don't get results, they go back to being a pundit. Because being a manager's relentless. It's hard. It's the hardest work you've ever seen. As a pundit is, because of travel and but it's a great job. Yeah. But I understand how difficult it is and longevity. So for the likes of managers who have managed for a long time, the pressure, the anxiety, the stress, the non-stop nature of it, I respect every single person who's been a manager, and it's very difficult. Pundits who have never been a manager but have got all the answers will never know. Never, ever know. And it's opened my eyes as a pundit. It's made me a better pundit.
Different perspectives,
Made me a better pundit.
I love that.
As a manager. But as a coach, what makes, then I'll ask you, what makes, because you listen, up the RH.
Up the RH. Yep.
What makes a good coach? So what makes a good coach?
Obviously, developing players. I feel like that's forefront of anything that you do is developing players and making sure if you're in a session, you're reaching objectives and you're getting what you want to get out of the session. But also, like you said, fun, enjoyment, environment. I think environment's key. Setting that personal standards. I'm one of them, where I like to have a laugh, but it's when and where. You know what I mean? I like to everyone to have fun and have a smile on your face, but if it's time to work hard, well, you'll be able to back me up. If it's time to work hard, we reach what we need to. Environment's massive. That's why I think success.
So in a team environment, so you, for instance, you're putting a team session on and you're a coach, and you're doing patterns, you're doing this, and you work on stuff. In that game, at a grassroots level, if your team are doing that, and you're as a coach, you're thinking, wow, done all that, they've bought into what I've done, they've seen it, they've done it in the game, wow, you're coming away thinking, whoa, that's brilliant. But if they lose, the difference is, as a manager, all that matters is the result.
It's a results-driven business, I get that. But long term, it's difficult to say because results get you through the leagues, like you've seen record points, but long term, that style and that philosophy, that's massive for their development as individual players.
I think you learn more losing than you do winning about your team, 100%.
Yeah, no, I do, but again, it goes back to character as well, and having the right people in the dressing room to like lean on. Like, you know, Robbie rightly said about his coaching staff. Like, at the end of the day, that's up to them to get what they want to get out of the session. Bandy set pieces, that's his role, that's his responsibility, and that's his job.
So now, head coach. So I'm not a head coach. I'm a manager. So if I said, so now people get class as head coach, but I'm a manager. I'm not a head coach. So I can't think of anything worse than doing your session plan, delivering it, being up all night watching it, delivering it to the lads.
And then
I'm not a head coach.
What
I am, and I think there's a difference between a head coach and a manager.
Definitely.
I'm a manager who
oversees.
I know what I'm good at, and I think my good thing is relatable to the players, being honest, being open, and trying to get the best out of them and knowing what they want. As an individual, as a collective. And listen, am I going to put the best session on? No, I'm not. Listen, we joke about morethanamatch, but I'm quite good at that. But
if it's working, you keep it.
But we love it.
So next year,
look forward to it.
So
we've got an hour with a gaffer.
So you'd be a head. So if you went into a job, you'd be a head coach?
I would. Yeah, I would be a head coach.
So would you want a sporting director with you?
In terms of what to do, the budget inside,
to get rid of it. So as a manager,
it's different though, isn't it?
I do this.
I don't think.
And I've got a head coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would.
See what I mean?
I would be a head coach. Yeah, because my sole focus would be on
developing players,
personal development, getting that philosophy, that style, that environment. That would be my main concern. The contracts, the budgeting, count me out of that. But what I wouldn't want is when it comes to that side, I wouldn't tell them how to do their job. So if it come on the other side, them telling me to do mine, I wouldn't be happy about that.
So that's the big thing, is directing
football. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like that.
So obviously the narrative, I was director of football.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, and I wish now, it's every single manager who's been at my football club has done a great job. That's put us in the position where we're in now, right? And I'm never going to sit here and have a go at all our managers. Listen, it might be, they might say things about me. I've got no problem with that. I've had it all my life. Yeah. So as a director of football now, you're right, because there's such a fine line between giving your opinion. Yeah. Because if you give your opinion, they think you tell them what to do.
Yeah. Correct.
And emotion. So, looking back now, I wish I'm glad I've been a director of football, but I wish now I hadn't have been, because I've sat behind managers, emotion, thinking, shaking my head, arms in the air, and if I had that sitting behind me, I'd be thinking, wow.
I wouldn't like. No, it's not.
So now I get it, but it's taken me all this time to be a manager to realise it. And if I could go back now, but everybody's had the same opportunity as me at Macclesfield, with the same budgets, with everything. Yeah, they have. They've all done exceptionally well. But what I haven't got is somebody behind me shaking their head. So I do understand it, but it's taken me again till now.
Yeah, full circle.
But I put my feet in the technical area, and I've shown everybody 109 points. We showed everybody 109 points, and I do know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and next year we might be 15th, and then I'll have to make a decision. Well, am I cut out for that league? 15th won't be acceptable. You know what I mean? So I get it. I'm a manager, and it's interesting why you say that. So if you're a head, okay, then I know we're going on. As a head coach, then you'd let the sporting director bring the players in. Yeah.
No, there's a different. What I would do is I would identify the players, because I would want my team to play a certain way, and that style and that philosophy, I would want players to fit that, so I would have an input in that. But when it comes to I would say, listen, these are my 5 players, I would be happy with these 5. Not go and get them, but go and get them. You discuss wages, whatever, and you come back to me, yes, RH, we've got Dmani Mello, we've got Robbie Savage, I'm buzzing, right, let's get him in. I'll see him on the first day of training, then my job starts. I would not want anything to do with
So the base that then. So that's good then. So that's you.
I feel like I'm in a job interview here. Macclesfield FC.
So then
get in the comments, Mac fans. I'll just do you want the RH in?
So then, right, you start off the season. So we've brought your players in, your manager for your philosophy.
And then they blame me and
then you lose games.
Okay.
You get sacked. I've got your philosophy, your players. So now a new manager comes in.
So they don't want them players.
So now I've got your players and you wanted to give them a year or two. I've got 6 months left on high wages, and now a new manager comes in and says, I don't want those players.
And then you have to reinvest.
Now I've got to bring all the new players in. So as a club, what we decided to do was, when we brought a head of recruitment in for the first 2 years, we brought players in for the football club.
Okay.
So whatever manager was in, they've got the best players, we believe, for the football club.
Which is smart, to be fair.
Yeah, it is.
So that's what we did. And we're not bringing in bad players. We had the best players. As proven, 3 promotions in 4 years. And an FA trophy, final. But again, I get the narrative of me as a director of football. I've heard it all. I know it. I know what people say about me.
I just feel like that. If you you've asked me, that's the way I would. I would like to do it, because again, it's like you said. You don't want to turn around and see someone effing and jeffing. You're emotionally involved in the game as well. So it's like you know.
I know now.
Yeah.
But the easiest thing for me this
running down the sideline.
But the easiest thing for me this summer was having a conversation with myself about giving myself a 2-year contract as a new manager. I went, Robbie, what should I give myself?
Some guy.
It was the easiest thing.
I reckon Robbie's got an up the RH in him.
He's already said it twice.
But listen, you asked, what's your sessions?
I appreciate it.
They're good.
And we appreciate you coming on.
We do.
Thank you very much.
It's amazing, mate.
I'll deduct the fee from your wages.
I tell you what, being everyone, won't it? Being everyone.
Yeah, but listen, you do. You give back.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You give back for people. Listen, and when I was doing the contract negotiations with D, he said, as long as you come on the podcast, I'll sign. So this is part of the demand money. But no, Robbie, hard. When you start up things, it's hard. And sometimes you need people who have got a decent profile that can promote stuff for you. And I'm always up for that. People who've been good to me and have helped me, I'll always give back.
Because we, when we started More Than a Match, we had the amount of people and you know, people have got on board with this, and the guests that we've had on have been really supportive, so we appreciate it.
And it's hard to start from like new.
Of course
you have to
it
know
is.
people and try and
it
connect.
takes time as well,
it's
doesn't
networking,
it?
innit? So
It takes time with, you know, like we discussed, the views, the following. It'll take time, and we're in it for the long run. We
but we
love doing
appreciate
it.
it.
We want to spread a message and
Appreciate
like
your time.
yourself.
Yeah.
Mega, mate.
Well, listen, I loved it. Listen,
Yeah.
I don't like talking about myself.
yeah, we know that.
This has gone on for 4.5 hours.
No, but what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna split this into 2 parts. I think we'll do a part 1. We'll do a part 2. Because I feel like again we wanna spread your story. It'd be mega that part 1 and
I've
part 2.
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I have.
And I learned a lot about you. What I didn't know. So
Yeah. Don't know why. But yeah.
Well, listen, all you want is good people.
yeah.
Good people you can trust. And an environment. I think I've created an environment, we've created an environment with my staff at Macclesfield where people actually want to be there and understand that we're honest.
Yeah.
And we'll keep being honest, we'll keep being transparent. There'll be difficult decisions to make. There'll be times next season where he might be thinking, I hate the manager, he's not playing me. But again, it won't be, that will happen in a season.
It's
football,
it's
football. But it doesn't mean I think any less or any more of that person. It's just sometimes you have to make big decisions and inevitably you have to be accountable. And I'll make those decisions.
No, you will. But no, listen, we
Pleasure.
really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Please like, please subscribe. Another, wow, what an episode, what a 2-parter with Robbie Savage. Take care, like and subscribe, More Than a Match. Robbie Savage.
Pleasure.
Let's go.